According to official reports, Egypt has granted pardons to imprisoned activists, including two well-known defenders of human rights. According to the state-run news agency, the President of Egypt granted pardons to two well-known human rights activists, one of whom has connections to Italy and had been recently sentenced. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi pardoned various individuals on Wednesday, including rights activist Patrick George Zaki. Zaki, a postgraduate student in Italy, was sentenced to 3 years in prison on Tuesday for an opinion article he wrote in 2019, according to the MENA news agency. Italy was reminded of the tragic case of Giulio Regeni, an Italian student who was abducted and killed in Cairo in 2016 when Zaki's case came to light. Since Zaki's arrest in 2020, the Italian government has consistently advocated for his release. According to the agency, Mohamed El Baker, a human rights attorney who was detained in September 2019, was also granted clemency. El Baker had received a 4-year prison sentence in late 2021 for offences related to spreading false information, misusing social media, and affiliating with a terrorist organisation. El Baker was taken into custody during his presence at the interrogation of another imprisoned activist, Alaa Abdel Fattah. In the report, it was mentioned that the two individuals were part of a larger group who received pardons on Wednesday. However, the report did not provide any further details regarding the other individuals who were included. Typically, prisoners who are granted pardons in Egypt are released within a few days. Human rights activist Hossam Baghat expressed his support for the recent pardons and called for the release of the numerous individuals who are still being held in detention in Egypt for political reasons. He further stated that the activists should not have been imprisoned for their advocacy in support of human rights. Baghat, as the executive director of the Egyptian Initiative for Personal Rights, served as Zaki's legal representation during the trial. Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani expressed his approval of el-Sisi's pardon of Zaki. Tajani acknowledged the government's foreign policy for its instrumental role in securing the release of the young student. He further emphasized the tangible outcomes achieved through diligent efforts and enhanced international credibility. Italian opposition lawmakers also expressed jubilation upon hearing the news of the pardon. "Patrick Zaki's triumph. Pardon approved," tweeted Federica Onori, the whip for the Foreign Affairs Commission of the populist Five Star Movement. "We persist in our battle. We persist in our faith. We eagerly anticipate your return to Italy." In 2020, when Zaki was apprehended, the government was led by the Five Stars, while Meloni's far-right party remained in opposition. In a square outside the historic Pantheon in Rome, a representative from Amnesty International in Italy, Riccardo Nuri, spoke to the Italian state TV. He expressed contentment that the serious situation involving Zaki has been resolved, although it does not address the issue of human rights in Egypt. Zaki, a Christian, was arrested in February 2020 upon arrival in Cairo for a brief visit from his studies at the University of Bologna in Italy. After 22 months in pre-trial detention, he was released in December 2021. However, he was still required to stay in Egypt and was prohibited from traveling abroad until his trial. Despite being prohibited from traveling, he was able to earn a master's degree with distinction earlier this month. Instead of going to Italy, he defended his thesis through a video conference. This week, he was handed a 3-year prison sentence by an Egyptian court for spreading false news in connection to his article on alleged discrimination against the Coptic Christian minority in Egypt. Egyptian authorities faced immediate condemnation from Amnesty International following the alarming sight of Zaki being forcibly removed from the courtroom and transported to prison on Tuesday. In recent months, Egypt has granted pardons to many detainees following scrutiny of its human rights record during the hosting of the UN Climate Change Summit in November. For years, the government has actively suppressed dissent and exerted control over independent organizations through various means, such as arrests, detentions, prison sentences, and restrictions. According to rights groups, there are believed to be thousands of political prisoners in Egypt who have been detained without trial. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.